We've been waiting so long, the season's finally here. Soak it up and cheer, cause T-Wolves Talk is here.
Hey guys, welcome to today's edition of the game recap from the October 25th matchup against the New Orleans Pelicans. Peyton and I were at this game, and there is a heck of a lot to dissect. So I guess we'll get right into it. But man, starting in the first, that was just an ugly start. I honestly by both teams, but I elaborate a little bit for me, Peyton, because that was just a horrible start.
I mean, honestly, it was just the worst, one of the worst starts to an NBA game I've ever seen. Both teams looked out of it. There was not much energy in the arena from anyone besides me and Chris. We were trying to bring the energy for the whole fans, and just a tough start. And especially for players like Ant, he really looked out of it. Honestly, he looked like he needed to get punched in the mouth a little bit, and that didn't even change till he hit a three. And then you saw him, and he was just a way different player. But
yeah, the other thing I really noticed during the first quarter was Cat not getting his foul calls and flailing all over the court. Cat got teed up, and actually Finch also got teed up in the first quarter. Cat is the biggest complainer, I think, and it shows even more in real life, seeing how much he argues with the refs, and it's not helping at all. There's two ways it's not helping. One way it's not helping is he's not getting up to go play defense, so it's
right.
a 4-on-5 transition. And it's also not helping because it's making the refs more mad at him, and probably is going to result in less calls.
And you could also look at it as it's being a terrible influence for our young players. We're such a young team. If they're seeing their leader, best player, superstar do that after every single call, when half the time he's just flailing around because he's getting bodied. Like he's not going hard to the hoop. He's kind of trying to sidestep, and he's getting knocked down. So when the young players are seeing that, they're thinking that's okay. And it's just kind of weird because remember last year he said he was done. He was done complaining. He was going to set a good example for the players. And yeah, we're not seeing that much this year.
That kind of leads into the next point is post game. I don't know if you saw Anthony Edwards' comments, but they were very different in comparison to Cat's comments. Peyton might have to go to church here. Okay, so Cat's comments were a little bit different from Ant's post game. Cat's comments were mostly just a lot of the same, shouldering the blame on everything. But Ant literally went up to the podium and said the F-bomb. He said, me, Cat, and D'Lo have to pass the effing ball and get our teammates involved.
Well, I'm going to read the exact quote here.
Talk more too, yeah.
I'm going to read the exact quote from my favorite John Krasinski. How do you spell John Krasinski?
Jon Kr.
Oh, it's just a Jon. That's the problem.
Yep.
Yeah, so we'll read Ant's exact quote here. He said, wake up call for sure. Lock the fuck in. Everyone coming in here thinking it's sweet playing the Pelicans. Whooped our ass. Now our back's on the wall again. We got to wake up.
Yeah, and I actually really like that. That shows me. I was listening to Dane Moore's podcast earlier, and he really goes into and plays a lot of Ant's dialogue, and it really shows that Ant's going to start talking more. And I think he is the alpha dog. He's the new leader in the locker room. I don't think Cat's the leader anymore, and this game kind of proved it to me.
Yeah, Cat had just had a classic Cat game. He started off really slow from the field, but overall he had a quiet 30 points. He was pretty impactful. But Ant was the one who brought the spark, and once Ant started going there in the third quarter, the whole arena started going crazy, and every single player picked up intensity just because of that. We were a whole different team.
Yeah. So the second quarter, a lot of the same. We weren't scoring at a high clip. Going into the third, we actually dug ourselves in the beginning of the third into a 23-point deficit, I believe. And that's kind of when everything started going again. That's when I think Cat hit a big three, started hyping up the crowd, and Ant really got going. We were getting out in transition. Ant was hitting his threes. He went berserk there for like a 5-minute stretch. It was awesome in the stadium. And also, Pat Bev's defense and his knockdown 3-point shooting ability in that game was kind of the difference of why it was even a close game, to be honest. We could have been down 20 instead of 10 for most of that game if it wasn't for Pat Bev.
Yeah, and then so at the end of the third quarter, were we down 4 points? We're down 6, right? Yeah, because Devontae Graham had a crazy shot it was a great shot.
Momentum killer, it was, because that would have been a 4-point game, but instead that's a 3-point swing, make it a 7-point game.
And then, the other puzzling thing is we come back to start the fourth quarter, and the lineup that we had on the court, if I remember correctly, it was J-Mac, Prince,
J-Mac, Prince, Nas,
Vando,
and Kogi.
That's just that lineup just does not seem to be the lineup you want to have in when you're just finally coming back and getting in the game. And I know everyone was tired.
A lot of tired bodies, but you need one of your. I think D'Lo probably could have entered the game. I think he had 30 minutes this game, and Cat Nat had 40. So I would think D'Lo could have went in there.
Speaking of D'Lo, speak on his performance a little bit. Obviously, not the best performance he's ever had, but are we going to be too worried about it or what?
He's starting the season in a slump. I guess get it out of the way early. But yeah, first 3 games, I'm not gonna say I'm too worried, but it is a little alarming that your first 3 games you play this bad in each of your 3 games. That's not really what you want. He had 9 points. He had a triple single tonight, as Charles Barkley would say. He had 9 points on horrible shooting, and he kind of killed us down the stretch. He missed a lot of shots that would have changed the tide of the game. So
yeah, and the thing with D'Lo is like he'll keep shooting. He's not the type of player to when he's off he'll be more passive with it. He'll keep shooting, and that's a good thing, and it's also a bad thing, especially in this game. You're right, it kind of killed it. But I'd like to say I'm not worried about D'Angelo Russell at all. I'm not ready to jump ship on him. If you remember, he literally hit the game-winning dagger last game. Like he's going to be fine. He's a type of player where when he plays good, he plays good. He plays really good, and when he plays bad, he plays terrible. There's really no in between for that guy.
Yeah, I would 100% agree. Finch's comments post game too. He kind of echoed Ant's sentiment of not moving the ball. He said he was really upset with the ball movement, and Ant said, him, D'Lo, and Cat. I like how he included D'Lo and Cat in it too, not just him. Put your guys under the spotlight a little, give them some accountability. But we got to flush that one. Bad game, I guess. Looking ahead in the schedule, we got Milwaukee, an undermanned Milwaukee at that. They're down to their 3rd and 4th string big mans. They don't have Brook Lopez, and Giannis is having to play the 5, and Giannis is actually coming off the bench to play the 5. So I think Giannis is like 6'7". I mean, do you go out there and do you run your normal J-Mac lineup, or do you have a Kogi out there? Because Connaughton has been playing the 4 the last few games. That's a little Kogi-esque, isn't it?
Kind of is, yeah. And speaking of a Kogi, man, he was a non-factor last night. 1 point. Yeah. And when you even look at the starting lineup, you got J-Mac with 3, a Kogi with 1, and D'Angelo Russell with 9. That is not balanced scoring. So 3 guys combined for 13 points, and your other 2 guys had 28 and 32. So, I mean, that's really just not acceptable for a starting lineup to be such low scoring.
No, it's really not.
I don't think they'll change up the starting lineup next game, to be honest. I think they'll probably keep it the same.
See, I'm going to disagree there. I actually think they're going to put Malik Beasley in the starting lineup next game, and I think for one reason, I think they're going to try to get him into a rhythm against the Bucks. I think they're going to put him at the 3, and they're going to let him spot up and shoot some threes. And I think being in the starting lineup will do him some due diligence, because Okogie, besides the first game, the last 2 games against the Pelicans hasn't been good. Like it's just been normal Okogie without the steals.
Right. So are you gonna start J-Mac, Beasley, D'Lo, Ant, and Cat?
Yeah. Like Ant said, we need to pass the ball around, get some guys going, because it can't just be those three scoring. So you need to get J-Mac and Malik hitting shots, get them in the offense.
Yeah, man, and there's no need to panic. This happens. We're such a young team. We're so young, and this is going to happen on the way to becoming a great team. You're going to have these games, and you just got to put them in the rearview mirror and keep looking forward, and just don't put too much weight on it. Don't be so hard on these guys. They're going to be all right.
I think we got a chance against the Bucks too, man. Out Brook Lopez and Drew Holiday. They're undermanned. If we can stop Middleton, we know Giannis is going to get his, but if Middleton is held in check, I think there's a good chance we can beat the Bucks.
I feel like this definitely could be a statement game for the Timberwolves. Even if we don't win the game, if we at least make it, close, I think this could be a very positive thing for our team moving forward. And if you guys want to tune into the game with us, we're going to be live streaming starting at about 6:45. We'll have the live scoreboard up, and we'll be doing like a commentary of the game. So if you guys want to tune in, comment live on what's going on, we'd love to have you.
That's right. We're looking forward to having the live stream tomorrow, guys, and enjoy your day.